That sounded worse.
The best player on earth is flat on his back on centre court, blood in his shoe, 2-1 down, to a man ranked 50th in the world. Meanwhile, a qualifier just buried a top seed on a back court. A guy who was top 4 in the world a year ago pulled out before he hit a single ball. Another ran headfirst into a wall. And the defending champion looked more human than he has in 2 years. The first round is supposed to be the warm-up, but day 1 turned it into a war. Let's start at the top, because the top seed nearly fell. Jannik Sinner beat Miomir Kecmanovic in 5, 3.5 hours, against a man he had never lost a single set to in his life. This was meant to be a formality, but here's the number that changes everything. The last time Sinner won a 5-set match was the 2024 Australian Open final. Since then, Alcaraz lost. Medvedev lost. Alcaraz again lost. Djokovic lost. Cerundolo last month in Paris lost. 5 5-setters in a row gone. He lost 8 of his last 9. So this wasn't a routine win. This was a monkey getting dragged off his back, kicking and screaming. First set, he's up 40-love on his own serve. He loses 9 points in a row. The number 1 player in the world just handed it over. But the third set is where it got scary. He slips, gets up, slips again. But this time it looks bad. His knees buckle inward, and the whole of centre court held their breath. He got back up, but now there's blood coming through his shoe. And he just keeps playing. 31 aces kept him breathing. 52 unforced errors nearly drowned him. The serve was the failsafe. Everything else was dragging him downwards. To his credit, it was his first match on grass all year. Walking out as a champion, tight and emotional, especially after his shock Roland Garros exit. But the message landed. Every player left in this draw saw that, and every one of them thought the same thing. The king is beatable. This 5-set battle will either be the best or worst thing for Jannik Sinner. Now, the biggest scalp of the day. On paper, it looks like a shock upset, but it isn't. Roman Safiullin was a man who had to win 3 matches just to get in the building, including a 5-set battle the match prior. Then he took out the 12th seed, Andrey Rublev, in a 5th-set super tiebreak, and that final set tiebreak crawled all the way to 14-12. Rublev had 2 match points in there, missed both, Safiullin missed 2 as well, but took it on his 3rd time of asking. But here's why this isn't the shock the rankings suggest. 3 years ago, this exact man, as a qualifier, ran all the way to the Wimbledon quarterfinals. He's not a body filling out the draw. He's a flat, brutal ball striker. And grass is the surface that rewards exactly what he does well. On his day, this guy beats very good players. And Rublev arrived cold. This is a man who has reached a quarterfinal at all 4 majors, and not once gone further. The talent has never been the question with Rublev. The nerve always has been. And the stat that tells the whole story, Rublev won more service points than Safiullin across 4 hours of tennis. And he still lost. So if you came for Carnage, day 1 delivered. And Jack Draper was first up on the chopping block. Jack! Fuck, my voice just popped. Jack was 4th in the world just a year ago. The great British hope at his home slam. And now he is gone before he hit a single ball. The arm injury that's wrecked his entire season started flaring up the night before. And so he's gone. But it doesn't even give Taylor Fritz a free pass. A lucky loser slides into that draw. So instead of the blockbuster everyone wanted, Fritz opens against Dusan Lajovic. Then there's Denis Shapovalov, who ran into a wall. Quite literally. So by the time day 1 was over, 19 players withdrew and 6 of them were seeded. Casper Ruud is gone too, straight sets to Hubert Hurkacz, and he kind of looked half relieved to leave in the first round. This is a strange one. Ruud is one of the best clay court players of his generation, 3 Grand Slam finals, and yet grass is the one service he cannot solve. The one he's openly admitted he doesn't even enjoy. And the man across the net was built for it. Hurkacz made the semis here in 2021, the year he knocked Roger Federer out in straight sets, in what turned out to be Federer's last ever Wimbledon match. But plenty of other big names got the job done. Medvedev took Marin Cilic apart, 6-1, 6-2, 6-4. And Cilic is no pushover, a US Open champion, a Wimbledon finalist in 2017. But Medvedev's a dark horse in this tournament. He is a 2-time semi-finalist here, and he has beaten Jannik Sinner at this very tournament. Felix Auger-Aliassime threw in straight sets. Joao Fonseca backed up his Roland Garros breakout by beating Roberto Bautista Agut in straight sets. And that means something. Bautista Agut was a Wimbledon semi-finalist himself in 2019. His career is definitely not what it was, but still a first-round test for Fonseca that he passed with flying colours. Tommy Paul needed just 73 minutes. His game is built for Wimbledon. Flat, fast, low through the court. He's poised to make a good run. And the new kid on the block just kept coming. Rafael Jodar was littered with question marks. We've seen what he can do on clay, but grass is totally different. And he put all doubts to rest with a super efficient victory. Davidovich Fokina, who just won his first title of his entire career last week in Mallorca, carried it through. No hangover. And Ethan Quinn took out the 14th seed. And the one thing that stung, Cameron Norrie, a Wimbledon semi-finalist not so long ago, gone in 5 sets to teenage qualifier, the young American Michael Zheng. And Tsitsipas won his opener in straight sets, which is a great sign for Steph. But his reward, Novak Djokovic in round 2. Welcome back to Wimbledon. Speaking of Novak, he got past Yibing Wu in 4 sets, and it was tighter than 4-set sounds. Wu leveled things by winning the second. He dropped the third, then had him at love 40 on serve in the 4th. 3 chances to drag the whole thing level again. And Novak did what he's been doing his entire career. He played the most clinical tennis when his back's against the wall. But the women's draw was quieter, with one real gut punch. Aryna Sabalenka cruised, exactly what she needed after a miserable French Open exit. But the major story is Maja Swiatek. A month ago, she was in the French Open final. Yesterday, she lost in the first round of Wimbledon. That's how fast this sport turns on you. And the British misery just kept stacking. Raducanu withdrew the night before with a stress fracture. The home crowd sure did not have a good Monday. But here's your reason to come back. Serena Williams. Her first Grand Slam match in 4 years. That'll be the one your grandma is even watching. So, back to where we started. Sinner survived, bloodied, ugly, barely upright. But what is it? Is this the first crack in the king's armor? The day the whole draw realized the door might be open? Or is this exactly how its biggest runs always start, looking dead on his feet for half a match, before the switch finally flips, and then nobody on earth can live with him? I know which way I lean. Let me know where you land. Bada bing, bada boom, ba ba ba, bada ba. Day 1 Wimbledon. I'll tell you what, day 1 is vastly more stacked than day 2 has been. Or so far, at least looking at it. It's like a lot of huge matchups in day 1. The day 2 is a little bit more straightforward. There's a lot of good players playing, but they're all kind of matched up in a weird way, whereas the day 1 had matchups all across the board. So obviously the unfortunate one being Draper is out. Draper, what is going on, my man? You got to feel for the guy. Like, he came out to play a warm-up tournament for grass, looked pretty good at Eastbourne. How bad is it? How bad really is it? He's played like, I reckon, 4 matches of tennis in the last year. The guy was ranked 4th in the world, literally this time last year, even out of contention to be seeded for tournaments. So he doesn't even have protected rankings in any sense where he went out with an injury or anything like that. He's in a big bit of trouble. I think one awesome revelation, it's hard to gauge exactly, but Jodar playing effectively first grass court tournament, I'd say. We've seen what he can do on clay. That is for sure. He came out for 3 months and literally just said, yep, I might be the 3rd best clay player on the planet right now. Grass is a completely different story, but ironically, another Spaniard who was very good on clay was also pretty competitive on grass. He won a few tournaments, and when he was younger, he even said that he preferred grass and indoor courts to clay, which is bizarre. That was Rafael Nadal. So now Jodar coming out and winning his first match. Granted, maybe not the best case scenario to get an idea of where his level might stand on grass. You see Jannik Sinner, the number 1 seed, go up against Kecmanovic, who is just a good player in all respect, and then gets taken a 5, and you see Jodar go up against, I don't even know, Gil. Who's Felix Gil? Like, to no disrespect to Felix Gil, but just luck of the draw here at any stage. Like, if you woke up and said, yes, you know, you're the number 1 seed in the world, but guess what? Your first round, you have to play Kecmanovic. It's like, oh, thanks. That's great. That's awesome. A match is a match at the end of the day. You got to win a few to get through, and then bang, unseeded players going up against each other, and you're like, man, what is going on? As far as draws go, and obviously you got to look at Sinner being the guy to win here. He comes to Wimbledon, you know, there's question marks now, although still the overwhelming favorite. Jodar taking on Carina Busta. This seems like a very handsome draw for Jodar again. Like, you look at how his Roland Garros played out, it was just like a guaranteed ticket to the quarters. So far, it's looking very similar again. Medvedev as well. I honestly think Medvedev is probably the biggest dark horse of this tournament. He's like the 8th seed. Of course, he's going to have some credit attached to him, but this is a guy who's made it to the semis twice here. Far from a bad player on grass. If anything, you'd have him above Zverev and above the other top seeds at this tournament. And he does have a relatively straightforward and nice draw all the way up until he will likely play Tommy Paul or Hurkacz. I think Tommy Paul is also a dark horse contender. Lerner Tien as well. Zverev he's just a guy who could go out pretty early, or he could go the whole way. It's a hard one. This is not like Roland Garros expectations on Zverev. This is grass expectations on Zverev, where the expectation is he could be gone in the first or second round. I'll put my predictions up on the screen all the way to the quarters. You let me know in the comments as well. argue with the picks if you want. I'm more than likely going to be wrong.